email. I'll send you another email later.
Oh.
I have to catch up.
Yeah, so give everyone a few more minutes to get another 3 more minutes just to give people time to try and get in, and then we'll get started. Thank you for joining everyone so far. If you don't mind, try making sure that if you do the chat, that it says to all participants. Or all participants. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear Kyle okay when he was talking?
It was a little quiet. I guess it was a little quiet.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started then. And if people start filtering in, then we'll let them join and we'll just keep going. Thank you everyone for joining. This is our 4th meeting of the Kentucky Campus Compact STEM Plus Network. We'll lie off for the holiday, so for August we just kind of do a little easier introduction back into everything. So we will go ahead and I'll start off with the agenda. We're just going to do like some general introductions of everyone. We'll get right into what Kentucky Campus Compact is working on for the network and what kind of grants we're looking at for the network. And then we thought a lot of the talk would also be an open discussion on research at your university, what you're working on, what kind of trends are you seeing, and other STEM conversations around the state. Go ahead and get started. I'm Kyle Dorriere. I'm the AmeriCorps STEM Plus Vista for Kentucky Campus Compact. I previously attended Eastern Kentucky University for my undergrad and then Northern Kentucky University for my graduate school. And I don't have any research topics. So if Marzia would like to go ahead and do your role.
My name is Marzia Hatamzadeh. I'm a STEM Vista member at Kentucky Campus Compact office at NKU, graduate of NKU, master's and bachelor. I've been with campus for last years, and I'm working with through this STEM Plus network webinars. my research focus is basically in health informatics and database, national database collection, and working in some field. So that's it.
Great, thank you, Marzia. Gail, if you would like to go ahead and do your introduction as well, please.
So my name is Gail Hillicky, and I'm the Director of Kentucky Campus Compact. It's nice to be with you all and to continue this, my webinar. I've really enjoyed the ones to be on. We are very interested in supporting STEM faculty across the state, and so we're looking forward to continue this network. I don't research, but the work I'm focusing on is dialogue, civil dialogue, and asset and strength-based approaches to see if we can have more positive outcomes in our community.
All right, thank you, Gail. And then I'll just kind of go alphabetically from there. So Ashley Cochran, if you would like to do an introduction.
This is Cochran. I'm the director of our Center for Excellence in Learning Through Service. We call it CELT for short. And for our student engagement at Berea College, our work includes both curricular civic engagement work as well as co-curricular community service and civic engagement work. Doing any STEM-focused research now, but we are currently working with our STEM and nursing faculty at Berea College to explore exciting possibilities for outreach from the STEM disciplines. Berea College has a really beautiful science building which will be opening this fall, which is going to create additional state resources for community collections. And so we're looking forward to continuing those conversations this year. Some of our faculty in these statewide conversations in the future as well.
Awesome, Gail. Yeah, hopefully we can help you with that, either through webinars or just through personally contacting us and seeing how we can work together on that. So thank you. Look, the next person would be Sarah. Is it, not sure how to pronounce your last name, actually.
Sarah Fauk, and I actually spelled it wrong here, which is kind of funny. I am with Lindsay Wilson College, and I am an assistant professor in biology. I am not currently doing any STEM research, but I try to engage undergraduates in doing animal behavior research because I'm a behavioral ecologist. So we try to answer questions on mating preferences and sexual selection in Central American cichlids that you can find at pet stores, essentially. And I'm fairly new to this Kentucky Compact, so I'm just trying to figure out what it is and see what it's all about.
Hopefully, hopefully the webinar will help you on that. How do you spell your last name?
Q-U-E. I just forgot the E at the end.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Thank you for joining us. And then Scott Dillery, if you would like to do an introduction as well.
Scott Dillery. I'm also from Lindsay Wilson College. I'm in the math department, and I'm recently finishing up some graduate work in geographic information systems. And so I don't have a particular research program going. Over the years, typically what I've tended to do was similar to Sarah, either getting undergraduates to do that they were interested in, or helping colleagues doing some sort of collaborative research. And what I'm hoping to do is begin working with my colleagues around the college in incorporating geographic information systems and some service learning into a new course and make that course.
Cool. We actually had, I don't know if you were here last month, we had Dr. Hongmei Wang from AU talk about how she created GIS into some projects working with the local community. Fortunately, be here today, but maybe I can give you her contact information and you guys could discuss how she did that and for something at Lindsay Wilson related to that.
That'd be great if you you could email me her contact information. That would be fantastic.
No problem. All right, so that's everyone so far. It looks like we have somebody. Maybe she'll back. So this is just kind of an overview of what Kentucky Campus Compact does. Our priorities are college access, college success, and community impact. And some of the programs we do engagement and high impact practices, especially in higher education. One of those is the STEM Plus network, which is what we're working on now. Trying to get faculty connected and using resources for faculty members so that we just serve you as a resource. Every Compact member has an advisory board. So I want to know who that is and make a connection with them, or maybe they made a contact with you. You can just let us know. Looks like we had someone join. Lee Liu. Would you maybe do a short introduction? No.
I just wanted to say that Ash Cochran, whose call is the advisory board member from Berea, and this is the advisory board member from Lindsay Wilson, and I think I know that, or maybe
I think both Sarah and I knew that Natalie Vickus was our person.
perfect. Thank you.
So we'll dive into how Kentucky Campus Compact can support STEM Plus faculty. So what the major thing we're working on right now is find a grant that then grant out to member faculty for their own research projects. So Kentucky Campus Compact is 12-member institutions, and we ideally would like to have $10,000 per school, so that one faculty member dollars to do for research. We are open to suggestions from that. So where we thought the faculty could come in, they could suggest, $10 isn't enough, $1,000 is too much, and to be open to, some schools don't apply for funding from it to a school, or maybe faculty could collaborate. Would be up to you. So, just kind of a question for faculty: do you think $10,000 would be enough, or would it be helpful to have more? If you don't feel comfortable talking, you can do. Send me a message if your mic isn't working.
For me, kind of have in mind, actually 10,000 might be just about the right amount. Just in that, I think to do some of the things that I'd really like to do, I need a piece of equipment that would probably cost somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000.
Okay. That would be something we could look at, is either helping you purchase it, or just money is there for you to purchase it yourself. So that is something we would look into. Thank you.
What types of projects would these grants typically cover?
Good question. We into petitions. We were kind of wanting to see what the fact in mind, but we would like it to have a community engagement component, something that impacts the community in a positive way. So hopefully that's something, getting a student involved, like test the water quality in the rivers, or like day project, like you wanted to do a day where you brought your students out to or something like that, some sort of project that was kind of outside the classroom or not in a typical way. You're welcome. We created a list of potential grants, and the five that we kind of prioritized were Duke Energy, Northrop Grumman, James Graham Brown Foundation, Verizon, and American Honda. We're hoping to send out letters of request within the month or two. An idea from them, whether they think this is a good idea, whether this is something they're interested in funding. I don't know if you have any experience with them. If you do, you can tell we tried to apply them once and they didn't really, or they liked what we were doing, so it's similar to what Kentucky Compact is doing. So if you have experience with that, you can let us know. But then also open to research projects as well with faculty members. And then we came up with another list that are a little more fun faculty projects. I can send out a list of all foundations with links for you to check them out. So we have the 3M Foundation, and they really focus on STEM, underrepresented and under-resourced populations, but do have a focus on the Indiana, Hebron, and Lexington areas because that's what they serve. So if mentioned any of those areas, that would be a good one to check out. The ECOA Foundation focuses on climate change and then biodiversity. So that could be a good one for you, Sarah, to possibly check out, or if you know a nonprofit working with at your university does that. The Alfred P. Sloan Foundation focuses in STEM, and they even have a program where they help mighty faculty members or like grad students try and get their PhD. And then the Charles Cook Foundation is also one that focuses on academic research, and they prefer technical advancements and progress for their research projects that they fund. The Sewell Foundation is Northern Kentucky based, but I think they work with all, and they have a couple of different ones that you can choose from. So they have education and success scholarships, something that's related to civic public affairs, and then also environmental and community stewardship. MANA, the next one, focuses on Louisville, but I think they're open to stuff that's based in Louisville, but then is out throughout the rest of Kentucky. They like programs that develop career skills. So you brought in students to help you with the research project that really develops a certain skill using certain technology or something that'd be really helpful for the nation. And then Marksberry Family Foundation focus on education in Central Kentucky. And again, that's another one where if you have any connection to Central Kentucky, you could, make for trying to grant from them. on childhood development scholarships and continuing education for adults. So maybe we're working on so like NKU has PACE, which is for older adults. And you has something similar that maybe if you're working with an adult population that's trying to get their degree or trying to get research and hands-on projects, that would be another good one. Here's just a list of defined grants. .gov has all the federal grants, so NIH, NSF. Directory online. A couple different universities use this one that has full access to your library, but they have profiles on all the funders, who received the grants, what the grants are about, so that you can kind of see similar projects. That's one somebody from suggested, but they focus a lot on academic research grants. Mr. Foundation is similar to Pivot, but they fund research grants that are $50,000 and less. So for a research project that's more community or local based, they have a good amount of resources for that. Come to the next piece, another discussion on research. This is kind of an open thing for people to kind of chime in whenever they are liking it. So we kind of covered question 1, what are you working on right now? So faculty, I know many, but if you did have research projects in the past, it would be good to know funding in the past. So if you want to either hand with the little icons or just go ahead and start talking, that would be great. Okay, thank you.
I essentially have been self-funded, so I try to do research that's very inexpensive, and that's probably one of the reasons why I was hired to start doing this research at Lindsay, because I can probably work with about $200 a semester or less. In the past, I would try to find small donors who were interested in what I was working with. So I didn't have a whole lot of success with finding large funding sources, and I think that's because the projects that I worked on weren't directly related to some big ticket item at the time. Now may be a little bit easier for me to find more funding because I'm trying to engage students and give them the skills to do more research in the future, but I really have no idea where to even start with looking at that.
Thank you. Yeah, hopefully you have a list of all of the grants that we've been looking at, so maybe you can kind of check those out or keep in contact with us, Sarah, if you find a good foundation or something that would maybe help you with those projects. Yeah, good to know that the projects were $200 or less. That's kind of crazy. That's interesting to learn more about that.
It's scrounging and taking things that people find as useless and finding a way to use them for my research.
What kind of projects have you done in the past?
We have worked with fear behaviors in some species of African cichlid and guppies and fishing lures that I had, and fishing line or marbles. I've done breeding research, which really I just have to give them food and heat their tanks up warm enough, and they'll make things I can students for that and see how it affects their behaviors and how many offerings they have. So far I've been primarily developing products that will cost very little. I have ideas that would cost more, but I'm kind of limited with what I have.
That's awesome. Thank you.
I have a question for Sarah. How do you fund your students? Do you pay them stipend to do research with you? How do you engage the student in this project?
so far, I've only been at Lindsay for 2 years, and we have been doing student credit. So they get upper level research credit for completing a class with me. I also have students who just volunteer to do it because it looks good on their CV and they're trying to apply to these postgraduate schools. So we haven't been paying them. None of them asked for payment. They're just doing their best.
Okay, thank you.
So that kind of so what we can address all of the questions. Sarah, you kind of already covered a lot of them. Finding students or community partners to help you. Kind of trouble running into finding funding and other partners. And another one I kind of wanted to discuss is, are you noticing any trends? Projects are being funded either nationwide, regionally, or at your university. Maybe you've noticed that a lot of your coworkers have been develop an app or sort of technology or VR maybe. Anybody noticed any projects at their university, or if they've done research about what's being funded nationwide?
Anything at our, go Scott.
Yeah, at our school, generally nothing's funded. But nationwide, one of the big areas right now is not just mathematics, is a PIC program, which what the heck does it stand for? Parent, something that has to do with industry anyway. Helping students understand pathways to industry through particular mathematics majors, but you could think of it as STEM majors in general.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that's doing well nationwide. It's got NSF funding. That's probably the only thing I've noticed that's new. Things that don't seem to be getting funded so much more days is one time anything you did with technology seemed to get funded, and now you've got to make a pretty good case if you want money to add technology, I guess.
Okay.
In time, hair and new connections and those kinds of things were always to get funded, and now I don't think that it's expected that your goal is going to fund those kinds of things. So
okay. So yeah, like getting a new machine or something used to be funded, but now it's that your university is moving forward. We have the latest stuff.
That's my perception, is that just doesn't get funded now.
Okay.
So for me, in the past, I got some funding just through my school, not here at Lindsay, but when I was at Albion College in Michigan, I had summer spends for students. So we had kind of an in-house research experience for undergraduates, and it wasn't externally funded. It was just part of the funding we had there. You had to apply for it, and I would get students working on numerical, mathematical, their interest during the summer. At Lindsay, it's been pretty much the same sort of model Sarah mentioned. Students gotten credit. So worked with students on projects of their interest. Some were kind of programming type things. Some are statistical or optimization based. And we had a student actually do a internship here on campus. You get credit for the internship. And I was in database management stuff. And so, yeah, here at Lindsay, you know, I've been kind of out of the funding. I did apply for some funding a few years ago from NSF, and but the plus side of that was the next year I got invited to come read proposals and you know, some idea of how the process worked, and you know, a better idea of how I failed, you know, so that's something too, is getting, even by applying and failing to some of these places, certainly the NSF, you may begin more information because the reviewers, and they do want people in grants, and they want diversity in that. And so I think one of their ways is to take people who are successful applications and get them into the process so they better understand how to have successful ones.
Okay, that's good. We're thinking of applying for an NSF grant, but it seemed to kind of fall through. But that's good so that, you know, you just apply that they might bring you in, and they can kind of learn through that way. That's awesome. So anybody else have anything to add about kind of at your university or what you're working on, or what trends you've noticed? We'll move into some general open discussion here. It's just similar questions, but any STEM initiatives at your campus? I know Kentucky State University had STEM Day where they brought in a bunch of the field for kind of like a career day. Other schools have had like summer camps. Something that being cool that your campus is doing with STEM initiatives, maybe.
Actually, I don't really have much to share. I think that hopefully we'll have more to share in the coming months. Now all our STEM folks are in transition, getting ready to move into their new state.
Yeah, school does start in a few weeks, so everyone's probably focused on just getting into the class.
Can I just ask Ashley about the thing that's on campus that when you first enter the campus from the highway?
The one thinking of is just downhill from our building. So if you were coming on campus from the northern exit from exit 37, and then it's the large brick building on the right.
And are others going to be in that building?
All of the sciences as well, things there, and math will be in there as well. And then
I'd like to mention the STEM related STEM initiative on NKU campus this summer. Shadowed the engineering camp academy this summer at NKU. It was a 1-week camp. Students from all northern Kentucky and Ohio, they participated for 1 week, and they had hands-on engineering, technology, manufacturing, real-world things related to science, technology, engineering, math, and they were enthusiastic about continuing in STEM field. So it was a great motivation for students, high school students, to learn the concept and see how it works in real world. So that was something going on. There were several others going on during the summer at KU that I've been involved for the last 2 years during my service, such as robotic, Lego leagues, girls in engineering. So time is a good time for faculty to get involved and kind of bring science to student life. And the Kentucky Power Foundation, the ash and oil, and it was through Center for Integration of Math and Sciences that was organized. And some faculty at NKU, they were teaching and helping the camp. So lots of things going on here at NKU during the summer. We're hoping to have a couple of faculty members here that are involved. I think they said that I don't see them here. So hopefully next time we could have more people share projects. Have been funded. So just wanted.
All right, thank you, Mark. Any you would like for us to discuss in the future, or any sort of guests you would like us to bring in as presenters? You know someone at your university who's doing something really cool. You would like us to try and bring in someone from a certain grant, we can try and, or grant foundation, we can try and do that. Just kind of anything you would want to discuss or what would be helpful for you. The whole point of these webinars is to get you guys connected and help you get educational best practices, your research funded. So let us know if there's anything you'd want us to discuss or anyone you'd want us to bring in.
Well, the two foundations that caught my eye were KyCC and Humana. Partly because I'm thinking about, how do we bring IS into the community and so forth. And it seems to me that what's in there about Humana and funding seems the type of service that might fit that well. And in general, that the energy companies, I don't know what the foundation is funding, but the energy companies themselves are certainly interested in people working to get data, location-based data, and that sort of thing. I don't know if any of the others are, but in the future it would be interesting to hear from, as we identify possible foundations that look like they might be matched. If we hear from somebody from those foundations, at the higher levels, when presidents of colleges start talking to people, it's up in Michigan, often college presidents would sit down with representatives from the Kellogg Foundation because it was, with an hour and a half of many, many small colleges up there and larger ones, and they would have meetings and disseminate information and that sort of thing. And so it's possible that some foundations for webinars we could just join. It may not be this particular program, but if we could follow some presentation they're just sending out, that would be great. But if they could come speak specifically to us, well, that would be great too.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Looking to see if they have any resources. Yeah, we'll send out a sheet with links to a lot of the different foundations that you can kind of look at those and see what they have. but I'll see if any of them have any webinars or open meetings or something where you can, we can go or something like that and look into them. That's a good idea.
Question for any of you, this is Gail, sorry. We think that the STEM fields do not include in as much as maybe some of the other fields, education or social work or nursing, those kind of things. I guess nursing is STEM, but I'm wondering if you feel that engagement is STEM fields on campus, or is there still we're in that arena? So I think Wilson, Scott, Sarah, are you guys the only ones that do engaged work?
I'll put Sarah on the spot and see what she thinks on that.
I was just going to say that at least within our program, I feel like we're fairly engaged. Our at least 3 faculty who are doing some sort of undergraduate research. So they're students, helping them to do what they need to do to understand how research works, and some collaborations with other schools like WKU. Engagement with the community, not 100% sure. I know that I'm pretty low on engagement with the community because I'm new and I'm still getting to figure out the area, and I'd like to do more, but I know that there are some others that do a lot with our community and actually want to do more with the community, like bring in some of the local and high school students to get them engaged in the sciences.
A lot of the foundations help. If not grad, they want to do like a K through 12 type of thing as well, and especially connecting high schoolers to higher education. So yeah, projects I think are definitely of interest to a lot of foundations, connecting students to the future, to future education.
Maria.
I think that there has been engagement from faculty. And I think that department-wide, there's been more in nursing. I mean, that's just, goes hand in hand with their work. And sometimes it's hard to draw a line between the work that they do that's more practically and learning or community-based research, but departmental-wide, they're definitely engaged in lots of community partnerships just because of the nature of the work and the training that their students need to have. And then another field, I just think we're at this moment, great opportunity. I think there's been interest for some time in that division, and now that they have the new building, people are seeing all kinds of possibilities, and there's energy for it. So I just think we're at a point of a lot of potential right now, which is really exciting. We offer a service learning course designer each summer through my center, and summer we have a physicist, in the summer a chemist who were part of the seminar, who've both been area for a long time and are each engaged in the community in their own ways personally, but haven't incorporated it directly into their courses. So that's exciting. There's also a lot of collaboration between the education department and the sciences, and so there's a lot of interest, there's support in place, and so it's just a matter of all the pieces together and hopefully making some new collaborations happen.
Thank you. That is exciting.
Yeah, that's good to know. I know some of the stuff can be hard. Like, it's hard to think of projects maybe like in math and physics, community engagement, but the professors will find a way. So, does anybody else have anything to add or would like to talk about or hint on for maybe next time?
When I'm at the things that I heard, that pop out to me was about what's said about the trends of preparing students for career and path to industry. I'm seeing that across the board. Thing to hear that it's also in the STEM as well, and so that might be a big for further exploration, in the webinars, and as well as maybe the students. I think it'd be kind of interesting. Maybe that's something we do out of our office. Is just kind of do something like the students get credit for the work time. Sometimes they get stipends, and they can certainly put it on their CV. Just hearing those kind of topics might lead into some good conversations in the future.
Yeah, I agree. I think getting some students to talk about their experience and say what their professors helped with and how they help them get engaged or get into their career field will also be useful. It seems like we've covered everything that we really wanted to talk about, or if anybody else had anything to add. But if you would like to save the date, our next webinar will be Friday, September 7th at p.m. It's going to be something, one of the communications I sent out was a little unclear if it was at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. So I'll double check everything and make sure that it's clear that it's at 3 p.m. Eastern Time and 2 p.m. Central Time. And we'll have it every Friday, every first Friday of the month from here out. So I want to thank everyone for participating. A lot of really good information and great ideas for us to think about for future webinars and what we do for the network to help you guys research.
Thank you for
Yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah, it's helpful.
Yeah.
See you in September.